Chapter 1. The King Wakes Up. Altara Vale had closed his eyes as a 65-year-old billionaire and opened them to the smell of cereal and crayons. The ceiling above him was wrong, too low, too plain, and definitely not marble. His silk sheets were gone, replaced by bright blue ones covered in cartoon superheroes. His king-sized bed had become a narrow twin with chipped wooden posts. For a long moment, he lay still, trying to piece together what in the world had gone wrong. When he finally sat up, the world tilted. His arms were short, his hands small, soft, unscarred. The mirror across the room showed a face he hadn't seen in over half a century. Wide eyes, messy brown hair, a smudge of toothpaste on his cheek. "This is impossible," he whispered, but the voice that came out was high and squeaky. He stumbled to the window. Suburbia stretched out before him, the same rows of houses he'd long ago escaped. His heart pounded. Somehow, Altara Vale, the king of deals, the man who once controlled half the city's skyline, had become his 9-year-old self again. "Altara!" a woman's voice called from downstairs. "You'll miss the bus!" His mother, alive again. He froze, emotion clashing with disbelief. She'd died decades ago. Yet here she was, humming as she clattered dishes in the kitchen. He wanted to run to her, but his mind spun. What was happening? A dream? A punishment? Minutes later, still dazed, he found himself standing at the corner where the yellow school bus screeched to a stop. Children poured in. Laughter, shouts, backpacks swinging. A chaos he hadn't known in 60 years. He took one step up, and that's when it happened. A hand shoved his shoulder. Another yanked his backpack. Before he could react, he was face first in a muddy puddle, the sound of laughter echoing above him. "Still clumsy, Vale," a red-haired boy jeered. The same bully, Derek Mason. The same smirk. Altara blinked through the mud and water, watching the bus doors close. For a moment, old humiliation surged, but then just as quickly it was gone, replaced by a cool, dangerous calm. He stood, wiped his face, and smiled. Not this time. By midday, Altara was sitting in a classroom that smelled faintly of glue and pencil shavings, pretending to pay attention. In truth, he was studying the battlefield. Every market had its structure, every empire its hierarchy. This place was no different. There were the dominant cliques, the bullies like Derek who ruled through fear, the middle management, kids who followed whoever seemed strongest, and the outcasts, smart, quiet, underestimated. Assets, he thought. During recess, he tested the waters. He noticed a boy crying beside the basketball court, his lunch stolen probably by Derek's gang. Altara knelt down, offered the boy half his own sandwich, and asked, "How much is peace of mind worth to you?" The boy blinked. "Whoa, what?" Altara smiled. "I'll make sure they don't bother you again. You just bring me your extra pudding cups from lunch. Deal?" Within 2 days, Altara had built the beginnings of his new empire. By the end of the week, he controlled the candy trade. Kids came to him for advice, protection, or simply to be left alone. He never raised his voice. He didn't need to. Power came quietly, like interest on a well-timed investment. The teachers praised him for his maturity. The bullies began to hesitate before crossing him. Even Derek Mason, king of the playground, found himself outmaneuvered. His followers peeled away one by one, tempted by Altara's generosity and cleverness. And yet, as Altara stood one afternoon at the edge of the blacktop, watching the lines of kids moving at his unseen command, something cold stirred in his chest. He'd done it again. Built another system, another hierarchy, another empire. The faces were smaller, but the patterns were the same: control, fear, dependency. When a small girl offered him a chocolate bar as payment, he almost refused. But old habits die hard. He took it with a smile, then caught sight of his reflection in a classroom window, a boy's face, wearing a man's calculating eyes. For the first time, he wondered if this second childhood was less a gift and more a test. That night, lying beneath his superhero sheets, Altara stared at the ceiling. He could still hear his mother humming in the kitchen, could smell the warmth of home. He thought of all the things he'd lost: friends, laughter, family, in pursuit of power. Maybe, this time, he could change the ending. Or maybe, as always, he'd end up owning everything and losing himself again. Either way, tomorrow was Monday, and in this new world, the schoolyard was his boardroom, and the game had just begun.